So you've heard about Daily 5 or Math Daily 3, and you've wondered what exactly are they and can you roll them out at the same time? I'm going to answer all of your questions in this video and get to the pros and cons of each and explain to you how I do things in my own elementary school classroom and give you kind of a sneak peek into what the expectations look like for both. So stay tuned. You're going to get all the details of Daily 5 and Math Daily 3. Hi, I'm Molly, and I'm a 5th grade teacher who helps you learn how to transform your literacy block by using the Daily 5 method so you can have students reading independently while you're able to pull guided reading groups or whatever kind of reading groups you are doing with the curriculum you have. And I also show you an in-depth look at Math Daily 3 because I currently do both in my 5th grade classroom. If you've been here for a minute, then you know that I've taught kindergarten, 1st grade, and now 5th grade. So I have both ends of the spectrum on how these two programs can work really well inside of your classroom. So the first thing I want to kind of explain is the difference between Daily 5 and Math Daily 3. So they're very similar. They're created by the same sisters that they wrote the Daily 5 book. They have a section on Math Daily 3. That's where I learned how to do this. And what you hear me talking about is mostly their methods and then sometimes how I've tweaked their methods to make them work more efficiently inside of my classroom. And I've tested these methods out and even taught a workshop last summer, which you can still have access to. I'll leave a link below where I show you exactly how to streamline Daily 5 to make it more efficient in your classroom. And it was a big success, and so many people finally got to the Daily 5 after years of wanting to try it, but feeling like it was overwhelming. So I really broke it down for them. And I want to point out that I do have a Daily 5 playlist here on YouTube, and you can binge watch all of my videos, and I have a Math Daily 3 playlist as well. So I'll have those linked for you below. The key differences is one is during your literacy block and one is during your math block. What I've noticed is that if you can implement them both at the same time, they really work well together because they're the same system. Your students will be so familiar once they master one on how to do the other. And honestly, they'll have an immense amount of comfort in the systems that you put in place using these two types of programs. Because kids, we know, like to have everything planned out. They want to know what to expect, and Daily 5 and Math Daily 3 really deliver on that. My students are totally bummed whenever there's a day that we have to miss a station or something happens and we don't get to Daily 5 or Math Daily 3. It is incredibly rare that happens. It might be because of an assembly or a field trip, but for the most part, we're able to get to this every single day and we go through the expectations every day. So can you do them both at once? Absolutely. If you're the kind of person that starting two things at once really overwhelms you, then I would encourage you to try one first, master it, and then start implementing the other with your students. I tried whole group teaching with math, and you might have seen one of my YouTube videos on this when I started in 5th grade. And I have to tell you, I did not love it. I was teaching with a group of people that's all that they did. They were totally against small groups, even though they poll small groups. Like, that's the thing that you will find is that teachers are still polling small groups, but they somehow don't want to label what they're doing. But you will find when you teach math whole group, especially in our upper grades, kids are a lot more reticent to raise their hand and participate. But if you start teaching the lesson a couple times in small groups, your students will participate so much more. I had a rather big class last year, and I noticed as soon as I switched to what my instinct was telling me to do, was to go back to Math Daily 3, all of a sudden I had higher participation and I had a lot more confidence in my apprehensive math students. So think about that when you're thinking of Math Daily 3. You're still teaching the same whole group lesson to everybody. Everybody's getting the Tier 1 instruction, but then you're able to pull groups and kind of reteach things that other kids might need. And one cool thing that you will notice, my students often tell me this, is that they're listening in while they're doing their independent task to the group, so they get to hear it twice or 3 times, and they sometimes feel more prepared when they come to math group, or they feel like the repetition was really the mother of skill for them and they got a lot out of hearing it again. Same goes for Daily 5. However, the groups are usually book clubs where you're pulling them based on a reading skill that they need to work on. So it kind of depends on how you want to structure that. But Daily 5 is just a great way for you to implement small group reading instruction after you've taught the whole group lesson. I have lots of videos about this over on Instagram and TikTok on like a perfect schedule. I kind of like take other people's ideas as far as like, oh, will this work for my schedule? And then I figure out a way to make it work if you only have 2 groups or 4 groups, whatever it may be. So you should check out all those videos because I break down schedules a lot on social media for Daily 5. So those are kind of the differences with Math Daily 3 and Daily 5, but the whole point of it is so that you can have more individualized instruction and meet with kids in small groups so you can meet their needs. We absolutely know the longer you're in education, kids that do not want to share out loud are more willing to do so in a small group setting of their peers that they feel more comfortable with. And if you don't believe me, just try it. Do a whole group lesson and then the next day pull them in small groups and you will see a tremendous difference. I just know it. So those are kind of the pros of them. The con would only be that you might have to reteach something, but I always say if you don't like repeating yourself, then you really shouldn't be a teacher anyway. And I've heard that somewhere, I don't know where, but it really rings true. So teaching a lesson more than once, we know our upper grade teachers do that all the time. And you can really jam pack more into a small group lesson than you can whole group when you're trying to get people back on task. So there you have it. That's kind of my thoughts on Daily 5 and Math Daily 3 and starting them both at once. I would love to know your thoughts on it. Come back to this video and let me know what you ended up doing. And remember that if you're watching this video, no matter what time of the year it is, you can absolutely implement either one of these. It does not have to be the beginning of the school year. It can be any time and you will have so much less stress, I promise, once they have these expectations going. And I want to quickly show you the video of my students. You will hear their voices in the background going over the expectations. I never film my students, but I am fortunate enough to have an amazingly supportive principal who encourages me to film what I'm doing to help other teachers with their journey with Daily 5, and so you can hear what they're saying and you will see the hand gestures. I'm implementing whole brain teaching in this video, so take a listen.
Daily 5 rules.
Daily 5 rules. 1.
Work the whole time.
Work the whole time.
Stay in one spot.
Stay in one spot.
Level 0.
Level 0.
Get started right away.
Get started right away.
Build our reading and writing stamina.
Build our reading and writing stamina. Mirrors off.
I hope that helps you determine whether or not you're going to start Math Daily 3 or Daily 5. And just know I have so many resources for you here on this channel. And if you want to check out the Daily 5 workshop, I'll leave the link below. You can accomplish so much in an hour's time and get all my best kept secrets of how I've tweaked the Daily 5 to really work best for my classroom. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.